Have you ever heard someone declare they are an atheist, while another describes themselves as agnostic, and wondered if there is a real distinction beyond semantics? It is a common point of confusion, but understanding the core difference helps to clarify how we approach questions about what we believe and what we can actually know. The fundamental difference between agnostic and atheist epistemology lies in their focus. Atheism is a statement about belief, specifically the lack of belief in a deity, while agnosticism is a statement about knowledge, asserting that the existence of a deity is unknown or unknowable. Atheism directly addresses the question of belief in God, concluding with no belief. Agnosticism addresses the question of whether one can possess certain knowledge about God's existence, typically concluding that one cannot. This distinction becomes clearer when we look at epistemology, which is the philosophical study of knowledge. An atheist, in an epistemological sense, has examined the evidence and arguments for God's existence and finds them unconvincing, leading to a position of non-belief. This does not necessarily mean they claim to know for certain that no God exists, though some do. Rather, their knowledge assessment leads to a lack of conviction. An agnostic, however, emphasizes the limitations of human reason and evidence regarding the divine, concluding that there is insufficient data to either prove or disprove God's existence. For the agnostic, the question remains open, and therefore true knowledge is unattainable. To understand this distinction in practice, consider how both might answer the question, does God exist? An atheist might respond, I do not believe God exists. This is a statement about their current doxastic state or their state of belief. An agnostic might respond, I do not know whether God exists. This response highlights the perceived absence of conclusive evidence or the inherent unknowability of the question itself. It is entirely possible, and indeed common, for someone to be both an agnostic and an atheist. They lack belief in a God, and they also believe that the existence of a God is unknowable. This interplay between belief and knowledge is often categorized further into weak or strong positions. Weak atheism simply means not believing in God, without asserting certainty of non-existence. Strong atheism asserts the positive claim that God does not exist. Similarly, weak agnosticism states that the existence of God is currently unknown, while strong agnosticism asserts that God's existence is inherently unknowable. Recognizing these nuances helps us appreciate that these positions are not always mutually exclusive but often address different facets of the same overarching question. They invite us to consider not only what we think is true but also how we come to hold those thoughts as true, or even if truth is attainable in certain domains. Grasping this distinction empowers you to engage more precisely with discussions about worldviews and philosophical stances. It moves beyond simple labels to understand the underlying epistemological commitments. By focusing on whether a position is primarily about belief or about the limits of knowledge, you gain a clearer lens through which to understand various perspectives on the ultimate questions of existence. This clarity fosters more productive dialogue and a deeper appreciation for the complex ways humans grapple with the unknown.
If you're into this, like, subscribe, and drop a comment.